Hello, good morning. I first want to start off by saying Happy International Women's Day for every female out there. Now, it's the 8th of March, which is actually International Women's Day, and I am still reading this book After by Anna Todd, which unfortunately does not represent women in a positive light. So there are a number of aspiring authors out there. So I suppose Anna Todd is an aspiring author because of the amount of books that she's sold, but the book that she's actually published does not represent women internationally in a positive way, in my opinion, sadly. But there will be authors out there that do. So if you're feeling inspired to research anyone throughout history that has inspired women, then maybe today's the day to look at doing this. Maybe if you're in full-time education, they're doing some events around International Women's Day. So anyway, back to the book. Didn't run out of Post-its. I actually ended up, unfortunately, in the bathroom yesterday from about 7:30 in the evening till 10 o'clock at night. Unfortunately, although this has nothing to do with the book, I have done other videos about this on my YouTube page. I suffer with a condition called bile acid malabsorption, and last night I had a really bad flare-up, and so if you want to know anything about that, then please research bile acid malabsorption or look at my other blogs or videos that I have done on my YouTube page. So I'm in the bathroom from about 7:30 till 10 o'clock at night. What am I going to do other than feel like I am dying? Or feel like I've got cholera? Because that's sort of the symptoms of bile acid malabsorption. It makes you think that you've had really bad food poisoning, or that you might have something like cholera, or the other way to describe it is like being in labour just after your waters have broken. So yeah, it's not great. But anyway, back to the book. I will put the Post-its in at some point, but obviously I didn't have them to hand. So I used a piece of paper I was using as a bookmark. I am currently on chapter 67. And they have just had Tessa and Zed have been on a date, which again isn't in the movie After, by the way. Tessa and Zeb seem to be getting on really, really well with each other, even though Harden is in the wings. Landon, I did say Lance yesterday, I'm so sorry, I was so tired. Lance, you've met his girlfriend Dakota, who's a ballerina. She's going to be going probably somewhere like Juilliard in New York. I'm sure Juilliard's in New York. So they all come to the bonfire, and Harden comes later with a girl called Emma, who is actually got a girlfriend. So in the movie, bit of a spoiler alert, Tess does go to the bonfire, but she takes Noah. In the movie, they're still together, they're still in a relationship. Then Harden gets drunk, he gets angry, he smashes everything up. Tess goes to his rescue, breaks up with Noah after spending the night with Harden and having an intimate sexual encounter where he first gives her oral sex. Well, in the book, before the bonfire, all of that has already happened. She has he's given her oral sex, she's given him oral sex. They're in this very mixed up relationship. The term fuck buddies has been used by his circle of friends, her attitude, or friends with benefits. So all of this has happened, and still you do not know why Harden is being the way he is. There's even a scene between Tessa and Karen and Ken that isn't in the movie. Tessa and Karen, who is Landon's mother, are getting on like a house on fire. She's even said to her, if you and Harden break up and you're not together anymore, please don't feel like you can't come to the house. I want you to come and help me do my greenhouse. I want to teach you how to cook. I want to be friends with you. And she's kind of a bit introduced herself as a bit like a surrogate mother to Tessa. And she's even said, we know what Harden's like. We've tried to help him in the past. His dad's been concerned about him in the past. Nothing we do or say helps. So we just let sleeping dogs lie, basically. You're friends with Landon, my son. You're a great friend to him. So I don't mind you coming over. I don't mind spending time with you. So she's already, in a way, being adopted into this family, who I suppose secretly are hoping that she will help Harden get out of his shell or get over whatever it is troubling him. But even if she can't, they've still basically, it's an open door policy. I mean, so again, the seed's already been planted, it's already been germinated. And it's got to the point now in the book where both Harden and Tess have said that they love the other one. Whether they mean it or whether they just meant it at the time of saying it, it's actually happened. So in the book, there has been a lot of changes. There's a lot of emphasis as well with the book, how they're saying it is the relationship and love affair of Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet of today's society. Yes, they did do Pride and Prejudice. Yes, it is mentioned in the movie after. But now they are studying Wuthering Heights, which is the relationship between Heathcliff and Cathy, which again is a book that was published by an English author I've never read. And in many ways, the book after, and I believe the movie, as well as the books after this one that are in the same series, have a lot of references to Wuthering Heights, not just Pride and Prejudice. So already in English, they have said the problem with Wuthering Heights was that Cathy and Heathcliff never marry. They marry other people. They had a relationship that was very strong. They loved one another. But again, it was one of those relationships that was kind of a love-hate relationship is how it's described. And how the best thing they could have done is just admitted how much they loved each other and been together. But in a way, the references bring you back to the story that you're reading. And it brings you back to the relationship between Harden and Tess, where, again, they are constantly in this, what appears to be a very toxic relationship. And it doesn't just affect them, it affects everybody around them as well. To the point where people have acceptance, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's Tess and Harden. What, they're going out today? All right, yeah, all right. Oh, they've broken up. All right, okay, yeah, in, out, yeah, all right, whatever. And that's kind of the attitude a lot of people have had to have. It always, in a way, reminds me of the Big Bang Theory, which is a series I used to watch, where two of the characters in that, I'm no good with certain names, and I do apologise. But again, in the Big Bang Theory, some of the characters in there, we're back together again. All right, yeah, congratulations. We've broken up. Yeah, all right, yeah, whatever. You know, it's that kind of relationship where it is what it is. And again, because I am almost 40, I'm used to growing up with things like, I never watched Friends as a series. People are probably going to be screaming at me right now, like, what? How could you never watched Friends? Well, I didn't. But I grew up with series like Dawson's Creek. And again, you know, I have rewatched that a little bit myself. And again, the characters in that series, They're together, they're not together, they're together, they're not together, they're sleeping with somebody else, and then they're going back to the same person. So again, even through my teen years and my childhood, it was still kind of normalized that it was okay at that kind of age, or even at any age really, to be polyamorous in a relationship. In other words, being in love or being with somebody, but still being in with more than one person at the same time. So again, I suppose in a way it goes back to kind of like pagan religion and beliefs before Christianity, or, before there were all these rules and regulations about polygamy and being a bigamist, being married to more than one person, depending on which religion you follow or the law of the country that you reside in. So, yeah, it's very confusing. I mean, they are teenagers at the end of the day, and I think reading it as a teenager, it's going to be sending a lot of mixed messages, and you will get the impression from reading this book that it is normal. It is okay to be this way around somebody, but as you get older, or if you're reading it as somebody my age, you're going to read this book and you're going to think, oh my God, please tell me I was not like that when I was that age. Please tell me I was not that naive. I was that gullible. I was that stupid. And again, she's used the word slap. It hasn't been used for so long. I've been so relieved about that. But once she has another fight with Harden, it's, I wanted to slap him. I wanted to slap myself. So again, it's that going back to wanting to hurt somebody, not just mentally or emotionally, but physically. And she does actually slap him at the bonfire. But another thing, a positive thing about this book is it does talk about hygiene. So they are teenagers, they are at they are at college, but there are scenes where they're having a shower, they are brushing their teeth, they are actually taking care of themselves personally. So I'm glad, I know it might sound a little mundane or a little trite to put that in. And as well, I just want to thank you, Anna Todd, so much that the first time, I'm sorry because I'm hitting the book, to try and keep it closed because it keeps wanting to open, is on the first sexual encounter that Tess and Harden have together. I believe it's in his room. I would have to go back to check. But anyway, I remember reading in one of the first ever sexual encounters they were together, he took his socks off. I know that might not mean much to people, or people might not understand what that means. But one of my pet hates is when guys are intimate with you, but they keep their socks on. And when I say socks, I don't mean contraception. I mean actual socks on their feet. To me, it always worries me. I'm thinking, why have you left your socks on but taken everything else off? That's just insane. Is it so that, like, if something goes wrong, you can run out of the room, but you won't be completely naked? You could still run down the street because you've got your socks on, and even, and so I hate it. Again, one of my favourite movies, which I believe is a book adaptation, was Circle of Friends, where one of the characters, she has a relationship with a much more mature man, and he takes her to a hotel, and it's supposed to be a nice hotel, but it isn't. It's a horrible hotel, and she's never been with anyone before, and she confesses this to him, and he didn't realise, he thought she had. And in the movie, she comes out in this lovely blue negligee and puts the towel on the bed so that she doesn't stain the bed sheets if obviously anything happens, to prove that it's her first time. And he's sitting on the bed waiting for her, and he's still in his socks and his shirt and probably his underwear as well. And I just thought to myself, yeah, you're really wanting to be intimate with this person. But obviously later on in the film, they are a lot more intimate, I guess. But at the same time, this movie and the book is set in Ireland. And so, again, I suppose the rules and regulations and how people are taught about intimacy in Ireland is a lot more different to maybe other cultures or countries. Because, again, the problem with Ireland was the last Magdalena laundry that closed was in something like 1996. So still in Ireland up until 1996. So by at that point, I was born in 1983. I would have still been in high school. They were still in Ireland locking women up in laundry houses, Magdalena houses that were ran by, I believe, the Catholic Church for being sinners, for having children out of wedlock, for being illegitimate, for being fallen women, as they would call them. I don't really know what actually happened to these women once they were no longer allowed to be institutionalized. I've seen programs about the Magdalena houses and how women have been treated. The stories behind it are quite horrific. But no one ever really explains, well, what happened when they were told they didn't have to live there anymore? Where did they go? What did they do? Okay, here's the door. You can leave now. The laws changed. You don't have to be here. So I've never really found any information about what actually happened to these women after they left. But anyway, I've got to go to take my son to his daycare. So thank you for watching, and again, happy International Women's Day to everyone.